Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who was convicted of second-degree murder for plotting her mother's murder, has been released on parole from the Chillicothe Correctional Center in Missouri. Now 32, Blanchard was granted early release after serving 8 years of her sentence, initially set for 10 years.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who conspired to kill her mother, has been released from prison.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard killed her mother after years of abuse, has been released from prison Thursday morning.
In the early 2000s, Gypsy was busy creating a secret Facebook account. She gets confused while adding the birth date. Her mother had given her conflicting information, alternating between 1995 and 1993. This confusion leads her to find her birth certificate from her mother's belongings. Her birth certificate revealed that she was born in 1991. Staring at her sleepy mother, Gypsy felt betrayed. But the secret about the age was just one of many lies. From a young age, Gypsy suffered numerous unwarranted medical conditions, according to her mother, Dee Dee. Her mother said Gypsy is severely ill and has undergone multiple operations, including eye surgery and removal of her salivary glands. Her mother even insisted that Gypsy needed a wheelchair and a feeding tube for her well-being. Dee Dee, age 48, was from Louisiana and resided with her daughter Gypsy at West Volunteer Way in Springfield, Missouri. They were well known by their neighbors.
People have been so nice to us. It feels like we finally came home.
Dee Dee convinced everyone that she and her daughter were victims of Hurricane Katrina, an event she claimed had disrupted their medical records. She even avoided any doctors who expressed doubts about her claims. Dee Dee devoted herself in taking care of Gypsy Rose, her teenage daughter. She even confided in neighbors, saying Gypsy's father was a negligent, substance-abusing man who made fun of his daughter's disabilities. He had never provided any financial support to them, not even during their supposed loss in Hurricane Katrina. She recounted how fortunate they were when a doctor at a rescue shelter assisted them in relocating to the Ozarks. It all seems perfect, a single mother making her way and overcoming challenges while raising her ill daughter. However, things turned upside down when, on June 14, 2015, a shocking update appeared on Dee Dee's Facebook account. This post shook everyone. A local resident, Kim Blanchard, was one of the first to respond to the post. Despite sharing a surname with the Blanchards, Kim was not related to them. She met with Dee Dee and Gypsy in 2009 at a science fiction and fantasy convention in the Ozarks. When Kim tried to reach Dee Dee by phone but received no response, she and her husband David decided to check on them.
So I called their phone, and they didn't pick up.
At that point, I told Kim we were just going to go over to the house.
Upon reaching there, they found a group of concerned neighbors already there. The house's windows were covered with a film that made it difficult to see inside, and no one answered their knocks. The presence of Dee Dee's specialized van, designed for Gypsy's wheelchair, in the driveway raised further suspicions. Concerned, Kim called 911. When the police could not enter the house without legal permission, David took the initiative to enter through a window. He found the house in darkness, with the air conditioning running high. There were no indications of a break-in or any violence. All of Gypsy's wheelchairs were still inside, which was alarming, considering her dependence on them. Police gathered statements and information while waiting for the warrant. They got a warrant around 10:45 p.m. When they entered the house, they found Dee Dee's body in her bedroom. She was stabbed multiple times and died days ago, but Gypsy was missing.
This is the house where Claudinia Blanchard was found stabbed to death. It set off a roller coaster story.
During the investigation, a young lady named Aaliyah Woodmansey came forward with important information. Aaliyah, a 23-year-old neighbor, had formed a close bond with Gypsy.
We were friends and we were very friendly to each other, but we hadn't really gotten to know each other on like a real friendship level.
Due to Dee Dee's constant presence, Gypsy and Aaliyah's interactions were limited. However, Gypsy used to talk to Aaliyah through a secret Facebook account named Emma Rose. Gypsy had shared with Aaliyah about meeting a man on a Christian dating site. His name was Nicholas Godejohn. They had been chatting for about 2.5 years, and he accepted Gypsy despite her medical condition. Both of them were Catholic and wanted to get married. Gypsy even planned to meet with Nicholas in front of Dee Dee. Aaliyah knew Gypsy's secret communications with other men. She recalled Gypsy's previous attempts to connect with men online. However, Dee Dee had once confronted Aaliyah in 2011, accusing her of corrupting Gypsy. Following this, Dee Dee broke Gypsy's phone and computer. Despite all this, Gypsy always found a way to reach Aaliyah. But after sharing about Nicholas Godejohn, Aaliyah lost contact with Gypsy. The authorities initiated a trace on the Facebook posts linked to Dee Dee's account, leading them to an IP address registered to Nicholas Godejohn in Big Bend, Wisconsin. On June 15th, investigators in Waukesha County, Wisconsin, raided Godejohn's family home in Big Bend, arresting both Gypsy and Godejohn on murder and felony armed criminal action charges. They were deported to Missouri and held on a $1 million bond. To everyone's relief, Gypsy was found there, safe and in good health. At a press conference the next morning, the Springfield sheriff remarked, "Things are not always as they appear,"
Things are not always as they appear,
highlighting the unexpected turn of events. As it turned out, Gypsy hasn't used a wheelchair since she left her home after the murder. She was perfectly capable of walking with no muscle issues. She didn't require any medication or an oxygen tank either.
that she can walk without assistance or a wheelchair.
Her hair, short and spiky, wasn't a result of her illness. Her head had been shaved throughout her life to give the impression of sickness. Despite being visibly shaken by the recent events, she spoke clearly.
How's the sandwich?
Oh, it's very delicious.
I think you're the first person I've ever heard say that.
She revealed to the police that the entire narrative of her illness was a fabrication, a lie told by her mother.
Did you believe you were sick?
There are certain illnesses that I knew I didn't have. I knew that I didn't need the feeding tube. I knew that I could eat, and I knew that I could walk, but I did believe my mother when she said that I had leukemia.
Though not everything Dee Dee said was wrong. She was from Lafourche Parish. Her birth name was Claudine Blanchard, but she often altered it, using variations like Dee Dee, Claudine, and Dino. When she settled in Missouri, she adopted Claudinia and consistently added an E to her surname. Dee and Rod, Gypsy's father, met when he was in high school, and their brief relationship, lasting about 4 to 6 months, led to a pregnancy. Rod, 17 at the time, felt the responsible choice was to marry 24-year-old Dee Dee. Their daughter, Gypsy Rose, was born on July 27, 1991. Shortly after the birth, the couple parted ways. Rod later remarried, welcoming 2 more children with his new wife, Christy. For the first 10 years of Gypsy's life, Rod and Christy maintained a good relationship with her. During the investigation, it was revealed that Gypsy and Godejohn made a plan to meet Dee Dee, hoping she would approve of their relationship, as confirmed by Aaliyah.
I thought that her mom had enough control that there was nothing really to worry about at all.
Nicholas traveled to Springfield, Missouri to join Gypsy and Dee Dee at a movie theater. However, things didn't go as planned. Despite this, Gypsy managed to spend some time with him. Following the movie theater incident, Dee Dee gave harsh punishments to Gypsy.
What happened when you let her figure out where you were?
She took me back home. She smashed my computer and my cell phone. She chained me to a bed for 2 weeks.
Gypsy recalled, she became jealous because I was giving him too much attention. She demanded that I stay away from him. This led to weeks-long arguments.
She would starve me. She would hit me with coat hanger. And she would call me bitch, slut, whore.
After this incident, Gypsy wanted freedom and to get rid of her mother.
Whose idea was it to kill your mother?
Mine.
Why did you want to kill your mother?
Because I wanted to be free of her hold on me.
My motive wasn't hatred, but a desperate need to escape her, she explained. On the day of the murder, Nicholas arrived in Missouri, checked into a motel, and waited for a message from Gypsy. Once he received confirmation that Dee Dee was asleep, he headed to the Blanchards' residence. Gypsy handed him a knife and then hid in the bedroom, covering her ears, while Nicholas stabbed Dee Dee. Gypsy later recounted, "I never really believed he would do it. I heard my mother scream once. It wasn't like in horror movies. She called my name several times. I was frozen with fear, wanting to help but unable to move."
Then I heard all the screaming and I was so scared that I just covered my ears. And I just crawled up in a little corner.
Eventually, everything went silent. After the murder, Gypsy and Godejohn spent the night together in her room. They then stayed at his motel in Springfield before taking a bus to his Big Bend, Wisconsin home on June 14th. The same afternoon, a status update was made on Dee Dee's Facebook page. Gypsy pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and received a 10-year prison sentence.
Guilty to second-degree murder. Prosecutors, Gypsy will spend 10 years in jail.
Her trial lawyer, Michael Stanfield, suggested that Dee Dee suffered from Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a condition where a person fabricates or induces illness in someone else for attention. Though Dee Dee was never formally diagnosed, experts believed she had this condition. During sentencing, prosecutor Dan Patterson acknowledged the case's unique nature, stating that despite the potential for a first-degree murder conviction, the judgment is given considering Gypsy's abuse. In November 2018, Nicholas Godejohn was convicted of first-degree murder after a trial where Gypsy testified about their relationship and the murder plan. On February 22, 2019, Nicholas received a life sentence without parole for first-degree murder and an additional 25-year sentence for armed criminal action.
Nicholas Godejohn, guilty of murder in the first degree, as submitted in instruction number 6.
What do you think of this case? Let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe to our channel to get more of crime and criminal cases.